Alright, the newer style Briggs, vertical, horizontal models, mostly on the V-twin engines, you'll have a vacuum operated fuel pump. Now, earlier models of the new engines had the plastic one, some have the metal one. But usually what happens on these models, if you're running your tractor and it keeps losing power, like you're not getting fuel, it might not be dirt in the carburetor. It could actually be the vacuum line from the head, or the valve cover. Because when the engine's running, it actually causes the diaphragm to move in and out, which pumps your fuel. Now, this is not always what's wrong with your mower, but it is something easy to check. If you look at the pump and the rubber line, there's different types. Some of the lines are longer, and there's slight differences. But if the line is cracked, like if you look at this one, you can see obviously it's going to have some vacuum leaks. Now this one is dry rotted, and usually what happens is they just do a split straight down. I don't know how good that you can see this in the video. If you look here towards this shoulder, this one, when it starts to rot down here, it's time to get a new one. But 90% of the time it's going to be just a split or rotted here, and this is what you can do to fix it. You don't want to use something sharp like a screwdriver because you risk stabbing the rubber and then you're just going to ruin it. So, since we're at the junkyard, I'm just using a plastic spoon. You got to try to get it out without ripping this shoulder off. If you rip the shoulder off, it's junk. And what you do, you want to make sure it's clean. Okay, and naturally you don't want to do it when it's on the engine because you have gases and oils. You're going to cut a piece of 3/8, it's usually 3/8 for most of them, electrical shrink wrap to it, and you're going to put it near the end. Usually I try to do the full length, but it's just a scrap piece I had. You're going to light it. You can also use like a hair dryer and stuff like that. Just got to get hot, but just obviously you don't want to, catch it on fire. You don't want to burn yourself. So now, if you look, it's nice and solid. And when you put it back on, slip it over the hose. Now you gotta, actually I should feed this in first. Feed this in carefully so that you're, like I said, so you're not ripping. If you rip it on the bottom, then it's not going to be any good. Don't use a sharp screwdriver because you're just ripping that little flared edge off. So right now I'm at a junkyard, so I don't really have the tools I'd normally use, but come on, get in there. So now we're fully seated into the valve cover. Take the hose and voila. Now, as I said before, usually I cut these a little longer. I did not cut this one quite long enough, so the shrink wrap's not the full length like I normally would like it to be, because normally I like it just a little bit past the rubber tube. But now, I mean, because if you cut it the full length, it's not going to slip either. But now it has no vacuum leaks, and it's not in danger of re-tearing. The only thing is, like I'm saying, if the bottom is starting to go for your little lip, then no, you will not be able to fix this because it's going to have a leak here. But if it's just your standard up here, like a split or rot, yes, you can just put the electrical shrink wrap on there to get at your auto stores and places, Home Depots, and that'll fix it. So basically, that's all you do. And then you won't have any more problems with the vacuum setup. And that should cure your problem in most cases. Other cases, it's going to be like your carburetor, having dirty fuel filter, or your pump could have gone bad. But 90% of the time on these V-twin engines, it's going to be this line right there.